Two crashes killed two pedestrians in a matter of hours.
You know, speed limits are there for a reason.
As Calgary nears an upsetting record, thousands rally for teachers. After 2 weeks of striking and no agreement. And remembering the Red Mile heyday. These t-shirts are back and making a difference for kids.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Alicia Fieldberg.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news. Another person has been hit by a vehicle and killed crossing a Calgary street. It's the third deadly pedestrian crash in the city in less than 2 days. It happened just after 8:30 tonight near the intersection of Wood Park Boulevard and 117th Avenue Southwest. Emergency crews say one adult was declared dead at the scene. Police shut down several roads in the area tonight while the traffic unit investigates. And this follows two other pedestrian deaths after two separate collisions, one this morning and the other last night. And it comes halfway through Pedestrian Safety Month, with Calgary trending to meet or exceed last year's deadly total. Jordan Canagan explains.
Shortly after 7:30 Thursday morning, the sirens started and emergency crews rushed to Riverbend Drive Southeast.
I decided to go out and look, and there was a body on the ground, two houses down, and the fire truck or the firemen got there, were doing CPR.
Police say an elderly woman was in an unmarked crosswalk when she was hit by a southbound vehicle. The pedestrian landed 14 meters away in the northbound lane. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
The vehicle wasn't at the scene when we arrived. It left the scene, and probably about 15 minutes ago, the driver, a male driver, surrendered himself into custody.
The driver, in his 20s, turned himself in to officers at the scene hours later.
It's not that busy of a street, so when a pedestrian gets hit, it's kind of the big thing.
Yeah, they're racing up and down here all the time. They're not doing the speed limit.
Thursday's fatal crash happening just 10 hours after another pedestrian was killed. Police say a 47-year-old man was crossing against the light at the intersection of 17th Avenue and 38th Street Southeast Wednesday night. The driver remained at the scene. There have been more than 300 collisions in Calgary involving pedestrians this year. Last year saw 13 pedestrians killed on city streets, a 10-year high. Thursdays marked the 10th of 2025 so far.
The nights are getting darker, the early mornings are getting darker, so if you're out walking, certainly be aware of the traffic that's around you and your surroundings. Wear reflective clothing. Drivers, you know, speed limits are there for a reason. Keep to those speed limits or drive below those speed limits.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
And there was another pedestrian crash tonight in the northeast. It happened just before 6 near the intersection of Whitehorn Drive and 36th Street. Emergency crews transported an adult to Foothills Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No word on charges. A High River man is being remembered for his kindness and generosity after he passed away this week in a house fire. Friends and neighbors are coming together to support his family and celebrate his legacy. Here's Mark Villani.
Quite a mess, eh?
John Malinowski may have lost his home, but on Tuesday morning, he also lost a piece of himself.
Within 5 minutes, I was here. And it was just chaotic.
A fire broke out at the Malinowski home around 10 a.m. Inside was John's 46-year-old son, Clint, who was living in the basement. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but crews say the flames and smoke were too intense to reach him on time.
An incident of this magnitude in a small community does rock a community. We want to offer our condolences to the family, the friends, the neighbors, and the relatives.
Clint is described as a loving father, known for his generosity and always going out of his way to help High River's homeless population.
And I don't think there's many in town here that wouldn't know him by his first name and that he hadn't given a ride to or spent some time with.
Left behind is Clint's son, Max. Now 16 years old, he reflects on all he's learned from someone he called his best friend.
He taught me to just be a great person, you know, like Just because someone's not nice to you doesn't mean that you shouldn't be nice to them.
And Clint's kindness isn't going unnoticed. A GoFundMe page raised nearly $13,000 just 2 days after the fire. One neighbor says he started it because he was inspired by Clint's compassion.
He'd give the shirt off his back, right? You want to bring the community together and support them as much as you can.
Local businesses are helping out too. Shoppers Drug Mart is offering free essential items to the Malinowski family.
It's always better to give back and support each other. And that's how we make a strong community strong.
High River's Mexican community is also honoring Clint in its upcoming Day of the Dead celebration.
We are part of this town, so I feel like we lost a member of our big family.
But while this family grieves over their loss, they're finding just a little bit of comfort from the support of their community.
High River strong. Still there. Thank you.
Mark Villani, CTV News in High River.
Rallies continue in support of Alberta teachers. The largest gathering today was in downtown Edmonton. Between 8,000 and 10,000 teachers and supporters marched in support of public education. The rally comes as the teachers' strike nears the end of its second week. Teachers here say the government needs to address classroom size, caps, and complex needs supports. Everyone agrees it's time for the strike to end, but not everyone agrees on just how that should happen. Tim Brooke reports.
In Calgary, 2 protests attracted dozens in red. In Edmonton, the noise was audible as Danielle Smith addressed Edmonton business leaders and mentioned the most pressing issue at hand.
So we've got a little bit more work to do.
The two sides are still far apart. One of the biggest sticking points is class size.
I had 50 elementary kids in a class at a time, and I was the only adult in the room with those students. It was overwhelming. It was unmanageable.
This teacher of almost 2 decades is currently on leave. She's trying to land a spot on City Council, motivated by her time spent in the education system.
You really need to be able to cater to all the different needs in the classroom. And so they really need to put a cap on the class sizes.
On Wednesday, the Premier claims simply dividing the number of students by teachers should result in 21 kids per class. But the Alberta Teachers Association says not every member is a classroom teacher. Some are counselors, librarians, and specialists.
But we really should not be reaching the 30-plus kids on a regular basis. That is chaos. That is not education.
Alberta doesn't track exactly how many students are in classrooms, but the government does want to get numbers down too. It says, however, a hard cap would mean more infrastructure and staffing spending than is realistic right now. The Premier isn't in favor of back-to-work legislation, but it could still be coming.
We return to the legislature with the throne speech on October the 23rd, and so if we don't have an agreement, you might be looking for something in the week of October 27th. I think the measure is it beginning to cause irreparable harm?
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Immigration officers found 4 undocumented workers after searching a Calgary construction site yesterday. Canada Border Services Agency inspected the team working on the event center after receiving a tip about the work site. Because it's a large site, immigration officers asked Calgary Police Service to be there as an extra security measure. The 4 individuals found without status are required to report to the CBSA office this week. The investigation is ongoing. New figures from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation show there were more housing starts in Calgary this past September. But the type of construction has changed while the city is dealing with an affordable housing crisis. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
Calgary is standing out in the latest data from the Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation.
Year to date, we expect basically another record year, or if not close to record year of construction.
Between January and September 2025, there were 20,893 housing starts. That's a 20% increase over the same period last year. While the number of single detached homes being built remained steady, other types of homes like condos increased 28%.
Several years in Calgary, have been oriented towards rental market and rental housing, and but this month it actually stands out quite a bit because the majority of apartment units started are actually condo units.
Michael Mack says these levels are reflective of decisions made months or even years ago when investor confidence was higher than it is now. He attributes some of the boost to construction of a 27-story tower along 4th Street and 11th Avenue getting underway, and there's another big project in the works in the area. Sales for Broadway on 17th will begin Saturday. It's going to be 47 stories, the tallest residential tower in the city.
This is the first time that towers this size really have made its way all the way to 17th Avenue. So we're looking at this project as the first piece of the puzzle of what the new vision of 17th Avenue and the development can be.
High housing starts is good news to this city as people deal with an affordability crisis.
Through the Home is Here strategy, which came into effect in January of 2024, we've begun to see some of the actions that we've put into place have results in the housing supply and demand interface. That looks like increase in vacancy rates, some decrease in rental prices, some moderation of home prices, but I would say we still have a long way to go.
The CMHC expects Calgary area construction to slow down a bit by next year. Jacqueline Olsen, CTV News, Calgary.
A really pleasant day out there.
Oh,
it was
the best.
Warm, sunny, blue sky. Tomorrow, not so much, right?
No, and I really want to make sure you're prepared for tomorrow because it's a very different day. At least 10 degrees cooler, plus we're looking at a much cooler wind gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. Just a high of 8 tomorrow. Now in the morning it should be mainly cloudy. We have a small chance of some showers in the morning hours, and then in the afternoon we have a good chance of showers. There is even the chance of some embedded thunderstorm activity in this as well, plus gusty, and yes, certainly it will feel noticeably cooler. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. A coveted moment in Calgary's history is helping raise funds so local kids can play sports. The Hangin' in the Dome, Chillin' with Jerome t-shirt was created during the 2004 Stanley Cup run when Jerome Iginla led the team. Back then, it was sold to raise money for Kids Sport Calgary. Local company Sea of Dead has now re-released the t-shirts for the 30th anniversary of the nonprofit. The goal is to raise $10,000, though now sales are online instead of along the Red Mile on 17th Avenue.
Back then, that's how we sold almost all the t-shirts. Is Vibe 98.5 at the time had a van, and people would just come up with $20 bills and we'd sell them t-shirts. But it was such an awesome experience, and Jerome has been was involved with Kids Sport Calgary for a very long time. And so it was just this awesome partnership.
The t-shirt creators got permission to use a childhood image of Jerome playing hockey with them in St. Albert. Now, if you're interested in getting one of these shirts, you can head to the Sea of Dead website. A man who took his pet to the vet was shocked by what happened next. He later received a surprise visit by the Calgary Humane Society and is now unsure how to proceed.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Top health officials from the provinces and territories are meeting in Calgary for a health summit. They're planning a united front with the federal health minister on healthcare spending. Many discussions centered around primary care access and a shortage of physicians.
1 in 5 Canadians do not have access to primary care, so we need to look at multiple solutions to increase the number of physicians we have practicing. So retaining, recruiting, training more, and allowing people who wish to practice in our country to come.
Tomorrow, the federal minister of health joins the summit. A Calgary cat owner says he is facing a dilemma, a pricey dental surgery for his elderly pet or else surrender it. The Calgary Humane Society is demanding he get the surgery done or face possible charges and fines. But Adam Nixon believes it's a risky surgery for his senior cat. Tyson Fedor reports.
Leo, the 15-year-old tabby cat, loves to climb, eat, and play. But in July, his owner, Adam Nixon, noticed a mass growing under his chin one day after work. He rushed Leo to the VCA Marlborough Animal Hospital. The exam and medications costing $288.
Wanted some antibiotics for the cat and some painkillers, and then also recommended dental treatment.
But the dental treatment soon went from recommendation to mandated, and the fee about $1,500, money Nixon says he does not have. And the worries about anesthetic in such an old cat. Still, Nixon shopped around the procedure at other clinics, offering a slightly cheaper rate.
I got 2 vets that told me, normally this is an optional treatment, but because the Humane Society is involved, it's not optional anymore.
The Calgary Humane Society says it's investigating following a complaint from the vet, but would not comment on the specifics of this case. The clinic acknowledged it alerted CHS, but would not answer any questions.
We don't want to seize animals and fill this shelter with them. There is an obligation to report on behalf of veterinarians as well, and so we do get a fair number of those calls. We are duty-bound to investigate.
Last week, Nixon was greeted by peace officers at his house who issued him a compliance order demanding he complete the dental work by October 22nd.
It's an informal document that really just lays out what we've told them verbally, and so it is most easy for us when we already have direction from a veterinarian who has reported a concern of veterinary non-compliance.
I'm trying to weigh the risks of putting him through serious surgery, the recovery of that, potential complications therein, versus just letting him live out a normal life.
If Nixon fails to comply, he could face up to a $20,000 fine and a lifetime ban on owning animals, if convicted.
I know there's some people out there that are going to say, just do the surgery. And it's, if I had some indication that he was in pain, that he needed this, it wouldn't be a question in my mind.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
2 orphan grizzly cubs can now call the Calgary Zoo their forever home. The cubs were brought to the zoo last month. Fish and Wildlife says their mother was shot and killed by a hunter that charged someone near Diamond Valley. The Wilder Institute says the pair would have died in the wild because they're so young. The zoo says the female and male are adapting well and will be ready for the public to see next year. Well, it's going to get much cooler tomorrow. Danielle has the details in her forecast after the break. Well, not a bad day for the middle of October. We got to 18 degrees in the city. That came with sunshine, calm winds. Very different day tomorrow. And I'm going to make sure you're prepared in just a second. But first, just checking out what's been going on across the country. Edmonton also got to 18 today. Vancouver got into the teens, just barely, but into the teens. So did Toronto, Ottawa, and Halifax and Montreal. Outside of that, it was either just barely double digits or single digits. All right, so it was relatively calm today, so no gusts registered in most communities in southern Alberta. It picked up to 65 kilometers per hour in Pincher Creek. All communities in southern Alberta for tomorrow looking at 50 to 60 kilometer per hour gusts, especially in the afternoon, and that will be out of the northwest. That's a chillier wind, absolutely. We did have some cloud cover roll in the evening hours and even a couple isolated raindrops here, but that was tame. And we overall had a really nice day. Looking at upper air analysis, in the darker green here, that's the jet stream. That's going to shift stateside. That's going to open this up for cooler air to move in, so a relatively cooler air mass. It won't be frigid, but it'll definitely be noticeable. And also instability. We even have the risk of thunderstorm activity tomorrow in the afternoon for many communities, including Calgary, in the afternoon hours. So I'm going to play this through. Basically, in the morning, we do have a smaller chance of getting an isolated shower in Calgary, greater chance to the south of Calgary, Okotoks, down to even Claresholm. A couple snowflakes for the mountain tops. In the afternoon, and this is because of a cold front, it's going to create that lift that we need. So even thunderstorm activities. So there will be isolated pockets east of the QE2, east of Highway 2, Calgary included in this. We could see a non-severe thunderstorm in the afternoon. Right up, the risk goes right up to about 9 p.m.
tomorrow. So an unstable day, a cooler day, absolutely a windy day. Saturday, though, looks bright and sunny, and then the clouds roll back in, as you can see here, for Sunday. Okay, so your longer range forecast looks like this. A high of just 8 for tomorrow. That's quite a departure from the 18 we had today. A lot of cloud cover, a small chance of showers in the morning, a greater chance in the afternoon with the risk of thunderstorm activity until 9 p.m. and a gusty wind at 50 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. Bright and a little warmer for Saturday. We get back into those double digits for the weekend. And again, more cloud cover rolling in on Sunday with that small chance of showers, but still holding on to the 11.
Thanks, Danielle. The soccer regular season is wrapping up, and Calgary's FC Cavalry is in a good position as they head into the playoffs. New data from the Angus Reid Institute finds 2 in 5 Canadians are following the Toronto Blue Jays closely on this run. The poll also finds about half of Canadians consider the Jays Canada's team. And that's even higher here, with 58% of Albertans saying the Jays belong to the whole nation. However, it's only half the people in Ontario who agree, and only about a quarter of the people in Quebec, where the Expos played up until their end in 2004. And supporters of the team are boosted once again by the Jays' performance tonight.
A well-hit ball to right field, going to backhand zone. It's gone! He did it again!
Andres Jimenez hit this 2-run home run to get the Jays on the board in Seattle against the Mariners. The Blue Jays win 8-2. They have now erased a 2-game deficit and even the series with the Mariners. Game 5 is tomorrow in Seattle at 4 p.m. And we're down to the final week of the regular season in the Canadian Premier League, and a lot is on the line for Cavalry FC. Glenn Campbell reports.
Cavalry FC wraps up the regular season on Saturday as they travel west to face Vancouver FC. Right now, Cavalry sits in 3rd place in CPL standings. A win or a tie, and they'll remain in that spot. Captain and goalkeeper Marco Carducci says the goal is to head into playoffs in 3rd place.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to think on one hand. The year has just come and gone, but it's also been a long year as well. So. This is an exciting time. A lot to play for on the weekend in terms of our playoff seeding, and we want to host that 3rd place game here. So, yeah, we're excited.
Vancouver's in dead last in the standings with just 4 wins, 8 draws, and 15 losses. Cavalry could only manage a win and 2 draws against Vancouver in the regular season, and they lost in the quarterfinals to Vancouver in the Canadian Championship. So taking them lightly isn't an option.
And they've proven that with the success they've had in the Can Champ, and all credit to them. They had some fabulous results on their run, and they've been a lot different since Martin Nash come in. They've had, I think, they're 5 games unbeaten. They brought in some new players, and they've got some terrific players before that, so they'll be a very difficult opponent to play against.
A loss to Vancouver, and Cavalry could fall to 4th or 5th in the standings. Right now they have 41 points. The Wanderers and York United are right on their tails with 39 and 38 points.
I think if you gave us this scenario far in advance, we'd say we want to have control of our own destiny. Obviously, 3rd place counts for a lot. So we know if we take care of business, that's the position is there for us, and that's what our focus is on.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
Kickoff for Sunday's game is 2 p.m. in Vancouver. Thanks for staying up late with us.